You know, there comes a moment in every person's life when everything falls apart, when the ground beneath your feet seems to crumble, when the people you trusted walk away, when the dreams you held so tightly slip through your fingers like sand. And in that moment, you think it's the end. You think you've failed. You think the universe has abandoned you. But what if I told you that this moment, this painful, heart-wrenching moment, is actually the beginning of your greatest transformation? What if I told you that the soul doesn't grow in comfort, but in crisis? What if everything you thought was breaking you was actually making you? See, we live in a world that tells us to avoid pain at all costs. Take a pill for this, numb yourself with that, run away, hide, pretend everything is fine. But the soul doesn't work that way. The soul has its own curriculum, its own lessons, its own tests. And these tests aren't meant to destroy you, they're meant to awaken you. They're meant to strip away everything that isn't really you, so that what remains is pure, authentic, and unshakable. Right now, as you sit here, you might be wondering if you've passed the test. You might be looking back at the wreckage of what was, trying to make sense of it all. You might be asking yourself, was it worth it? Did I learn what I was supposed to learn? Am I different now? And I'm here to tell you that yes, you are different. You're not the same person who entered that storm. You're stronger, you're wiser, you're more aligned with your true self than you've ever been. The first sign that you've passed your soul's most painful test is this: you no longer need external validation to know your worth. Think about that for a moment. There was a time when you looked to others to tell you if you were good enough, smart enough, beautiful enough, successful enough. You needed their approval like you needed air. You shaped yourself into whatever form would get you the love and acceptance you craved. You dimmed your light so others wouldn't feel threatened. You silenced your voice so others wouldn't feel challenged. You abandoned yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. But something happened during your darkest hour. When everyone walked away, when the applause stopped, when the world told you that you had failed, you discovered something remarkable. You discovered that you were still here. You were still breathing. You were still valuable. Not because someone said so, but because you exist. Your worth isn't determined by how many people follow you, like you, or agree with you. Your worth is inherent. It's woven into the fabric of your being. You don't need to earn it or prove it or defend it. It simply is. This is a profound shift. Most people spend their entire lives chasing validation, performing for an audience that will never be satisfied, trying to fill a hole that can only be filled from within. But you've stopped performing. You've stopped seeking approval from people who don't even approve of themselves. You've realized that the only validation that matters is the validation you give yourself. And that's freedom. That's power. That's the mark of someone who has graduated from the school of suffering. The second sign is equally powerful. You've learned to forgive the unforgivable. Now, I'm not talking about saying some nice words or pretending that what happened didn't hurt. I'm talking about a genuine release of the bitterness and resentment that once consumed you. You see, unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It doesn't hurt them, it hurts you. It keeps you chained to the past, reliving the pain over and over again, giving your power away to people who have moved on with their lives. During your painful test, someone hurt you. Maybe they betrayed you. Maybe they abandoned you. Maybe they lied to you or used you or tried to destroy you. And for a while you carried that hurt like a badge of honor. You told the story over and over, rehearsing the details, building a case against them in your mind. You wanted them to suffer the way you suffered. You wanted justice. You wanted revenge. But then something shifted. You realized that holding on to that anger was destroying you from the inside out. You realized that forgiveness isn't about letting them off the hook. It's about freeing yourself from the hook. It's about reclaiming your energy and directing it toward your own growth rather than their punishment. So, you made a choice, a conscious, deliberate choice to let it go. Not because they deserved forgiveness, but because you deserved peace. And here's what's beautiful about this. When you forgive, you don't become weak. You become unstoppable. You're no longer dragging the weight of the past behind you. You're no longer defined by what was done to you. You're free to create something new, something beautiful, something that reflects who you really are rather than what happened to you. The third sign that you've passed the test is this: you've stopped trying to control everything. Oh, this is a big one. We spend so much of our lives trying to force outcomes, manipulate situations, and make things go according to our plans. We think we know what's best. We think we have it all figured out. We make our lists and our schedules and our 5-year plans, and then we panic when life doesn't cooperate. We fight against what is, insisting that reality should bend to our will. But your painful test taught you something crucial. You're not in control, and you never were. That job you thought you couldn't live without, it wasn't your job to keep. That relationship you thought defined you, it wasn't yours to hold on to. That version of your life that looked so perfect on paper, it wasn't the life your soul came here to live. Everything you tried to control slipped through your fingers, and in that loss, you found something unexpected. You found surrender. Surrender doesn't mean giving up, it means giving in to the flow of life rather than fighting against it. It means trusting that there's an intelligence at work that's far greater than your limited perspective. It means understanding that sometimes what feels like a disaster is actually a divine intervention. That rejection was protection. That failure was redirection. That ending was a new beginning in disguise. Now you move through life with your hands open rather than clenched. You make plans, but you hold them loosely. You work hard, but you don't attach your identity to outcomes. You trust the process. You trust the timing. You trust that what's meant for you will not pass you by, and what's not meant for you couldn't stay no matter how hard you tried to hold it. The fourth sign is about your relationship with fear. You're no longer paralyzed by it. Fear used to run your life. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of being alone, fear of what people might think, fear of not being enough, fear of being too much. Fear kept you small, kept you silent, kept you stuck in situations that suffocated your soul. You made decisions based on avoiding pain rather than pursuing joy. You chose safety over authenticity. You said yes when you meant no, and no when you meant yes, all because you were afraid. But when you went through your painful test, you faced your worst fears and survived. The thing you thought would destroy you didn't. You lost what you couldn't imagine losing, and you're still here. You were rejected, abandoned, criticized, judged, and you're still standing. You discovered that you're far more resilient than you ever gave yourself credit for. You learned that fear is just a feeling, not a fact. It's information, not instruction. Now, when fear shows up, you acknowledge it. You feel it, but you don't let it make your decisions. You do the thing anyway. You speak your truth even when your voice shakes. You pursue your dreams even when the outcome is uncertain. You set boundaries even when it might upset people. You choose yourself even when it disappoints others. You've realized that the only thing more frightening than taking a risk is living a life of regret, wondering what could have been if only you'd been brave enough to try. The fifth sign is beautiful in its simplicity. You've found peace in solitude. There was a time when being alone terrified you. You filled every moment with noise, with people, with distractions, because silence forced you to confront yourself. And frankly, you didn't like what you saw, so you stayed busy. You stayed connected. You stayed anywhere but present with your own thoughts and feelings. But your painful test often includes a period of isolation, not because you're being punished, but because you're being prepared. You need time away from the noise of the world to hear the whispers of your soul. You need space away from other people's opinions to form your own. You need solitude to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. At first, it's uncomfortable. You feel lonely. You feel forgotten. You wonder if you'll ever connect with anyone again. But gradually, something magical happens. You start to enjoy your own company. You realize that you're actually pretty interesting. You have thoughts worth thinking, dreams worth pursuing, a perspective worth honoring. You don't need someone else to complete you because you're already whole. Now, solitude isn't something to fear. It's something to cherish. It's where you recharge, where you create, where you connect with the truest part of yourself. You're no longer desperate for company because you're no longer running from yourself. You can sit in a quiet room with your own thoughts and feel at peace. That's a superpower that most people never develop. The sixth sign is about your purpose. You've stopped living someone else's dream and started living your own. For years, maybe decades, you followed a script that was written by someone else. Your parents, your teachers, your culture, your society. They told you what success looks like. They told you what you should want. They told you what path you should take. And you tried. You really tried. You checked all the boxes. You did all the right things. But something always felt off. Something always felt empty. Your painful test shattered that script. It ripped away the life you were trying to build according to someone else's blueprint. And in that destruction, you found liberation. You realized that you don't have to live up to anyone's expectations but your own. You don't have to pursue a career that impresses people if it doesn't fulfill you. You don't have to maintain a lifestyle that looks good from the outside if it feels hollow on the inside. You don't have to be who they want you to be. You get to be who you are. Now you're guided by an inner compass rather than external pressure. You ask yourself, does this align with my values? Does this light me up? Does this feel true? And you make decisions based on those answers rather than on what will get you approval. You might make less money, but you have more joy. You might have fewer followers, but you have more authenticity. You might confuse the people who thought they knew you, but you finally know yourself. This is when life becomes an adventure rather than an obligation. You're not trying to live up to some impossible standard anymore. You're simply expressing the unique gift that is you. And that's what you came here to do. Not to be a copy of someone else. Not to fulfill someone else's dream. But to be the fullest, truest, most authentic version of yourself. That's your purpose. That's your gift to the world. The seventh and final sign is this. You've developed an unshakable faith in something bigger than yourself. Now, I'm not talking about religion necessarily, though it can include that. I'm talking about a bone-deep knowing that you're not alone in this universe. That you're being guided, supported, and loved by a force that wants your highest good. Some people call it God, some call it the universe, some call it source or spirit or higher power. The name doesn't matter. What matters is the relationship. Before your painful test, you might have had faith when things were going well, but when things fell apart, that faith crumbled too. You felt abandoned by the universe. You questioned everything. You wondered if anyone or anything was really looking out for you. But as you moved through the darkness, you started to notice something. Little signs, unexpected help, perfect timing, synchronicities that couldn't be explained by coincidence. You realized that even in your darkest hour, you were being held. Even when you couldn't see the path, you were being led. And now you know that there's a benevolent intelligence at work in your life. You know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You know that everything, and I mean everything, is conspiring in your favor. Even the painful things, especially the painful things, because those are the things that crack you open and let the light in. This faith changes everything. You don't panic when things don't go according to plan because you trust the plan that's bigger than your own. You don't collapse when you face obstacles because you know they're part of your path, not in the way of it. You don't feel hopeless when you can't see the next step because you trust that the next step will be revealed in perfect timing. You move through life with a quiet confidence that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Let me tell you something about these 7 signs. They're not just markers that you've passed the test. They're the gifts you received by passing the test. See, you entered that painful experience as one person, and you emerged as someone completely different. You were refined by fire. You were purified by pain. You were transformed by trials. And what emerged is the real you, the strong you, the wise you, the awakened you. But here's what you need to understand. Passing one test doesn't mean there won't be others. Life is a series of lessons, and your soul is an eternal student. There will be more challenges, more obstacles, more moments when everything falls apart. But here's the difference. Now you know you can handle it. You have evidence. You have experience. You have wisdom that only comes from walking through fire and coming out on the other side. And each time you face a new challenge, you'll face it with more grace, more faith, more trust. Because you'll remember what you learned. You'll remember that breakdowns lead to breakthroughs. You'll remember that the caterpillar must dissolve completely before it can become a butterfly. You'll remember that the darkest hour really is just before dawn. So, if you're in the middle of a painful test right now, let me tell you what you need to hear. You're going to make it. I know it doesn't feel like it. I know the pain is so intense that you can barely breathe. I know you're tired of being strong. I know you're exhausted from fighting. I know you want to give up. But please, please don't. Because you're closer to your breakthrough than you realize. The dawn is coming. The lesson is almost learned. The test is almost passed. And when you emerge, and you will emerge, you'll look back on this time and realize it was the best thing that ever happened to you. Not because it felt good, it didn't. but because it made you who you're meant to be. It stripped away everything false so that only the truth remained. It broke you open so that you could be put back together in a way that serves your highest purpose. You see, the soul doesn't need more comfort, it needs more truth. It doesn't need more possessions, it needs more presence. It doesn't need more success, it needs more substance. And pain, as uncomfortable as it is one of the most effective teachers of these things. Pain forces you to be present. You can't numb yourself or distract yourself when you're really hurting. You have to be here, now, feeling what you're feeling. And in that presence, you find truth. You find yourself. Think about the people who inspire you most, the ones who radiate wisdom and peace and strength. Do you think they got that way by avoiding pain? No. They got that way by walking through it. They got that way by facing their demons and their fears and their heartbreaks and refusing to let those things destroy them. They got that way by doing exactly what you're doing right now. They survived, they learned, they transformed, and so will you. Let me share something with you about transformation. It's not a one-time event. It's not like you pass the test, get your certificate, and you're done. Transformation is ongoing. It's a spiral, not a straight line. You'll revisit old lessons at new levels. You'll face familiar challenges with fresh eyes. And each time, you'll go deeper. Each time, you'll understand more. Each time, you'll become more of who you truly are. And that's the whole point, isn't it? This life isn't about accumulating things or impressing people or checking boxes. It's about remembering. Remembering who you are beneath all the conditioning and the programming and the stories you've been told. You're not just a body walking around trying to survive. You're a soul having a human experience. You're a spiritual being temporarily housed in physical form. And your purpose is to express that divine essence in your own unique way. Every painful test is an invitation to remember this truth. When the world strips away your titles and your possessions and your relationships and your plans, what remains? You remain. The essential you. The indestructible you. The eternal you. And that's what you're learning to trust. Not the external circumstances that constantly change, but the internal essence that never does. So, when you look at those 7 signs, you're really looking at 7 aspects of awakening. You're awakening to your inherent worth. You're awakening to the power of forgiveness. You're awakening to the peace of surrender. You're awakening to courage over fear. You're awakening to the beauty of solitude. You're awakening to your authentic purpose. You're awakening to divine guidance. These aren't just nice concepts. They're lived experiences that change the trajectory of your entire life. And here's something beautiful. When you pass your soul's most painful test, you don't just transform yourself. You become a light for others who are still in the darkness. Your story becomes medicine for someone else's pain. Your strength becomes inspiration for someone else's struggle. Your transformation becomes permission for someone else to transform. You become living proof that it's possible to survive the unsurvivable, to heal the unhealable, to transform pain into purpose. This is the gift of your pain. It's not random. It's not meaningless. It's not a punishment. It's a calling. You're being called to a higher way of being. You're being called to step into your power. You're being called to fulfill your purpose. And that calling often comes wrapped in crisis, because that's what it takes to shake us out of our comfortable complacency and force us to grow. Think about it this way. If everything in your life was perfect, if you never faced any challenges, if you never experienced any pain, would you grow? Would you evolve? Would you discover the depths of your strength and wisdom and resilience? Probably not. You'd stay comfortable, you'd stay surface level, you'd stay asleep. But your soul didn't come here to sleep. It came here to wake up. And sometimes that waking up feels like a rude awakening. But once you're awake, once you've seen the truth, once you've experienced this transformation, you can't go back. You can't unknow what you know. You can't unsee what you've seen. You can't return to the person you were before, because that person doesn't exist anymore. They died in the fire, and from their ashes you were born. The new you, the transformed you, the authentic you. Now, I want to talk about what happens after you pass the test, because this is where a lot of people get confused. They think that once they've passed the test, life becomes easy. They think the pain is over, and now it's all sunshine and rainbows. But that's not quite how it works. Passing the test doesn't mean you never face challenges again. It means you face them differently. You face them with the wisdom and strength and faith you've developed. Life after the test is still life. There will still be ups and downs. There will still be moments of joy and moments of sorrow. There will still be people who hurt you and situations that challenge you. But the difference is this: you don't take it so personally anymore. You don't identify with the drama. You don't collapse when things don't go your way. You stay centered. You stay grounded. You stay connected to that unshakable truth you discovered in the fire. And you start to live from a different place. Instead of living from fear, you live from love. Instead of living from lack, you live from abundance. Instead of living from separation, you live from connection. These aren't just words. They're states of being that fundamentally change how you experience reality. When you live from love, you see love everywhere. When you live from abundance, you recognize abundance all around you. When you live from connection, you feel connected to everything and everyone. This is what spiritual teachers mean when they talk about enlightenment or awakening or liberation. They're not talking about floating on a cloud or never having problems. They're talking about this shift in perspective that changes everything. They're talking about seeing life as it really is, rather than through the distorted lens of fear and ego and conditioning. And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to be perfect to experience this. You don't have to meditate for hours every day or live in a monastery or give away all your possessions. You just have to be willing. Willing to face yourself honestly, willing to feel your feelings fully, willing to let go of what no longer serves you, willing to trust the process, willing to keep going even when it's hard. That willingness is what carried you through your painful test, and that willingness is what will carry you through everything else. Because at the end of the day, life is not about avoiding pain. It's about being willing to feel whatever you feel and grow from it. It's about being willing to lose what needs to be lost so you can find what needs to be found. It's about being willing to die to who you were so you can be born into who you're meant to be. Let me tell you about the power of your story. Right now, you might look at what you've been through and see only tragedy. You might see only loss and pain and hardship. But I want you to shift your perspective for a moment. What if that story is your greatest asset? What if that pain is your most powerful teacher? What if those tears watered the seeds of your purpose? Your story matters, not because of what happened to you, but because of what happened in you. Not because of what you lost, but because of what you found. Not because of how you fell, but because of how you rose. And when you own your story, when you integrate your pain, when you alchemize your struggles into strength, you become unstoppable. People will feel it when they meet you. They won't be able to put their finger on it, but they'll sense something different about you, something solid, something real, something that can't be shaken. Because you've been tested, you've been refined, you've been transformed, and that transformation radiates from you like light. This is your time, not to play small, not to hide, not to pretend you're less than you, or so others feel comfortable. This is your time to shine, to speak your truth, to live your purpose, to be the person you discovered yourself to be in that fire. Because the world needs what you have to offer. The world needs your light. The world needs your story. The world needs you, and you need you too. You need to honor yourself for having the courage to face what you faced. You need to celebrate yourself for surviving what you survived. You need to love yourself for being willing to transform, because not everyone does. Not everyone has the courage to face their pain and grow from it. Many people stay stuck in victimhood, blaming others, repeating patterns, refusing to take responsibility for their own healing. But not you. You chose differently. You chose growth. You chose transformation. You chose life. So as you move forward, remember what you've learned. Remember that your worth is inherent, not earned. Remember that forgiveness sets you free. Remember that control is an illusion. Remember that fear is just a feeling. Remember that solitude is sacred. Remember that your purpose is yours alone. Remember that you're divinely guided. These aren't just platitudes. They're the hard-won wisdom of someone who has walked through fire and emerged on the other side. And when the next test comes, and it will come, you'll be ready. Not because it won't hurt, it might. Not because it won't challenge you, it will. But because you know now that you can handle it. You know that the pain is temporary, but the growth is permanent. You know that the breakdown is just the beginning of the breakthrough. You know that you're stronger than anything life throws at you. This is the truth that your painful test revealed. You are not fragile. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are powerful beyond measure. You are resilient beyond belief. You are loved beyond comprehension. And you are here for a reason. Your life has meaning. Your pain has purpose. Your story matters. So stand tall, walk with confidence, speak with conviction, love with an open heart, live with courage, because you've earned it. You've passed the test. You've transformed the pain. You've found yourself. And now you get to live from that truth. Not perfectly, not flawlessly, but authentically, courageously, purposefully. This is your life. This is your moment. This is your time. And you are ready to be who you came here to be, ready to do what you came here to do, ready to love how you came here to love, ready to live fully, freely, authentically. The test is behind you, the lesson is learned, the transformation is complete. Well, as complete as it ever gets, because growth is ongoing. But you're different now, you're awake now, you're free now, and that changes everything. So go forth and live. Live big, live bold, live true. Live from your soul rather than your fears. Live from your purpose rather than your programming. Live from your heart rather than your head, because you've earned that right, you've paid the price. You've done the work, you've passed the test, and the world is waiting for who you've become. You know what's interesting? Most people go through their entire lives waiting for permission. Permission to be happy, permission to follow their dreams, permission to set boundaries, permission to be themselves. They wait for someone to give them a green light that never comes. But you don't need permission anymore. The painful test you passed taught you that waiting for permission is just another form of prison. You're the only authority you need to answer to. You're the only one who gets to decide what your life looks like. This realization is revolutionary because it means you stop being a passenger in your own life and become the driver. You stop asking, "Is this okay?" and start asking, "Is this true for me?" You stop seeking consensus and start trusting your inner knowing. And yes, this will make some people uncomfortable. They'll call you selfish. They'll say you've changed. They'll accuse you of thinking you're better than everyone else. Let them talk. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your authenticity is not up for debate. What you've learned through your pain is that people-pleasing is a form of self-betrayal. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you abandon yourself. Every time you shrink yourself to make others comfortable, you dishonor the person you've worked so hard to become. And you can't do that anymore. Not after what you've been through. Not after what you've learned. Not after who you've become. Here's something they don't tell you about transformation. It's lonely sometimes. Not because you're alone, but because you're operating on a different frequency now. The conversations that used to engage you feel shallow. The activities that used to excite you feel empty. The relationships that used to fulfill you feel constraining. You've outgrown certain people, certain places, certain versions of yourself. And that's okay. That's more than okay. That's necessary. Growth requires space. You can't plant new seeds in soil that's already full. You can't build a new foundation on top of old rubble. You have to clear the ground. You have to make room. And sometimes that means saying goodbye to people and things you once thought you couldn't live without. But here's the truth. Anything that can't grow with you must go. Anything that requires you to stay small doesn't deserve to stay in your life. And as you create this space, something miraculous happens. New people start to appear. People who match your new energy. People who celebrate your growth rather than resent it. People who challenge you to keep expanding rather than pressure you to contract. These are your soul family. These are the ones who were waiting for you to become who you needed to be so they could find you. The universe has a way of orchestrating these divine connections once you're vibrating at your true frequency. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to chase anyone. You simply become yourself, and the right people are magnetized to you. It's one of the most beautiful rewards of passing your soul's test. You get to build a life and relationships based on authenticity rather than pretense. Let's talk about something crucial, the difference between healing and cured. You might think that passing the test means you're cured, that the wounds are gone, that you'll never hurt again, but that's not quite right. Healing doesn't mean the damage never existed. It means the damage no longer controls you. You've integrated the experience. You've learned from the pain. You've grown because of it. but the scars remain, and that's beautiful. Those scars are proof of your survival. They're evidence of your strength. They're roadmaps of where you've been and reminders of where you're going. Your scars make you relatable. They make you real. They make you someone others can connect with because they see their own struggles reflected in yours. If you were perfect, if you had never suffered, if you had never fallen, how could you possibly understand someone else's pain? How could you offer genuine compassion? How could you be a beacon of hope? Your wounds, once healed, become your greatest ministry. There's something else that happens after you pass the test. You develop what I call spiritual discernment. You can sense energy now in ways you couldn't before. You can feel when something is right or wrong for you before your mind even processes why. You can detect insincerity from a mile away. You can recognize manipulation even when it's wrapped in pretty words. You've been through too much to be fooled by surface appearances. You see through the masks people wear because you've removed your own. This discernment protects you. It keeps you from repeating old patterns. It keeps you from investing your energy in people and situations that don't serve your highest good. Some might call it being jaded or cynical, but it's not. It's being wise. It's honoring the lessons you've learned. It's refusing to betray yourself again just to make someone else comfortable. And with this discernment comes a profound sense of peace about who you are and what you want. You're not confused anymore about your values. You're not uncertain about your boundaries. You're not wishy-washy about your standards. You know what you will and won't accept. You know what aligns with your soul and what doesn't. You know who you are, and you're not apologizing for it. This clarity is magnetic. It draws opportunities to you. It opens doors you didn't even know existed. It creates synchronicities that feel like magic, but are actually just the universe responding to your clear intention. When you know who you are and what you want, life has a way of delivering it to you. Not always in the way you expected, not always on your timeline, but always in perfect alignment with your highest good. Think about how you move through challenges now compared to before. Before the test, you would panic, you would catastrophize, you would assume the worst and brace for impact. But now you breathe. You center yourself. You remember that you've been through worse and survived. You trust that this too is part of your path. You ask yourself, what is this here to teach me? Rather than, why is this happening to me? That shift in perspective changes everything. You've become someone who looks for the lesson in every experience, who seeks the growth in every challenge, who finds the blessing in every disguise. This doesn't mean you're happy about difficulties. It means you're wise enough to know that resistance creates suffering while acceptance creates peace. You've learned to dance with life rather than fight against it. And this wisdom ripples out into every area of your life. Your work becomes more meaningful because you're bringing your authentic self to it. Your relationships become more fulfilling because you're showing up as who you really are. Your health improves because you're no longer carrying the weight of pretense and resentment. Your creativity flows because you're no longer blocked by fear and self-doubt. Everything gets better when you get real. So here you stand, on the other side of your soul's most painful test, forever changed. You're not the person you were, and thank goodness for that. That person was living half a life, going through the motions, hiding their light, playing small. But you're fully alive now. You're awake. You're authentic. You're free. And that freedom is the greatest gift you could ever give yourself. It's the gift that keeps on giving, because once you taste true freedom, you can never go back to prison. Once you experience genuine authenticity, you can never return to pretense. Once you know who you really are, you can never forget again. This is your new reality. This is your earned wisdom. This is your beautiful, transformed life. And it's only just beginning. Right now, in this very moment, you are exactly where you need to be. And I know that might sound strange to you, especially if you're struggling, especially if you're waiting for something to change in your life, especially if you've been praying and hoping and wishing for something to manifest. But here's what I want you to understand. The universe is not against you. The universe is not making you wait because you're not worthy. The universe is responding to your energy, to your vibration, to what you're putting out there every single moment of every single day. You see, we've been taught to work hard, to struggle, to fight for everything we want. We've been taught that if we're not exhausted at the end of the day, we haven't done enough. We've been taught that suffering is noble, that pain is required, that we must earn our blessings through blood, sweat, and tears. And I'm here to tell you that this is one of the biggest lies we've ever been sold. It's time to let that go. It's time to understand that there's another way, a better way, a way that actually works with the laws of the universe instead of against them. When I say relax and trust, I'm not talking about being lazy. I'm not talking about sitting on your couch and waiting for $1 million to fall from the sky. What I'm talking about is understanding the difference between effort and struggle. What I'm talking about is knowing that when you're in alignment with source energy, when you're in harmony with the infinite intelligence that creates worlds, things flow to you easily and effortlessly. Not because you're special, not because you're better than anyone else, but because that's how the universe works. That's how it's always worked. That's how it will always work. Think about a seed planted in the ground. Does that seed struggle to become a flower? Does it worry and fret and lose sleep, wondering if it's going to make it? No, that seed trusts the process. That seed knows that it has everything it needs within itself to become what it's meant to become. It doesn't question whether the sun will shine or whether the rain will come. It simply grows. It simply becomes. And you are no different than that seed. You have within you right now everything you need to become who you're meant to be, to create what you're meant to create, to live the life you're meant to live. But here's where we get stuck. We don't trust. We don't relax. We're constantly in our heads, constantly worrying, constantly trying to figure out how it's all going to happen. We want to control every step of the process. We want to know exactly when and how and where our good is going to come to us. And in that state of worry, in that state of fear, in that state of trying to control everything, we actually push away the very things we're trying to attract. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. Your thoughts create your reality. Not sometimes, not occasionally, not just when you're feeling good, all the time. Every single thought you think is creating your future. Every single feeling you feel is sending out a signal to the universe. And the universe always, always, always responds to that signal. It has to. It's law. It's not personal. It's not arbitrary. It's as reliable as gravity. So when you're sitting there worrying about how you're going to pay your bills, when you're stressed about when your breakthrough is going to come, when you're frustrated because nothing seems to be working, you're actually creating more of that. You're telling the universe, give me more things to worry about. Give me more things to stress about. Give me more evidence that nothing works. And the universe, being the obedient servant that it is, says, your wish is my command, and delivers exactly what you're asking for. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, but I've been positive, I've been visualizing, I've been affirming, and still nothing has changed. And here's what I want you to understand. There's a difference between thinking positive thoughts and actually believing them. There's a difference between saying affirmations and feeling them in your bones. There's a difference between visualizing what you want and truly expecting it to show up. When you expect something, you relax about it. When you truly believe something is coming, you don't worry about when or how. You just know. It's like when you order something online. You don't sit by the door wondering if it's going to come. You don't stay up at night worried that the delivery person might not show up. You ordered it, you paid for it, and you know it's coming. You go about your life, you relax, you trust the process, and then one day, ding dong, there it is at your door. That's how manifestation works when you truly understand it. You place your order with the universe through your thoughts, your feelings, your intentions, and then you relax. You trust. You go about your life knowing that what you've asked for is already on its way. You live from the end result. You feel now the way you'll feel when it arrives. You act now the way you'll act when it's here. And in doing that, you collapse time. You speed up the manifestation process. You open yourself up to receiving it the same day. Yes, the same day. Not someday, not eventually, not in some distant future when you've suffered enough or learned enough or grown enough, the same day. Because in the realm of spirit, in the realm of infinite possibilities, time doesn't exist the way we think it does. Everything already exists. Every possibility, every outcome, every version of your life already exists right now in the quantum field. Your job is not to create it. Your job is to align with it. Your job is to become a vibrational match to what you want. And you can't become a vibrational match to abundance while you're vibrating in lack. You can't become a vibrational match to health while you're vibrating in disease. You can't become a vibrational match to love while you're vibrating in loneliness. You have to shift your energy first. You have to relax first. You have to trust first. You have to feel it first. And then the physical manifestation follows. This is where most people get it backwards. They think, I'll be happy when I have the money. I'll be peaceful when I have the relationship. I'll be confident when I have the success. And that's exactly why it never comes. You have to be happy first. You have to be peaceful first. You have to be confident first. You have to feel it before you see it. You have to believe it before it becomes visible. That's the secret. That's what all the great teachers throughout history have been trying to tell us. When you relax, when you let go of the struggle, when you stop trying to force things to happen, you open up a channel for the universe to work through you and for you. You allow miracles to occur. You allow synchronicities to show up. You allow the right people, the right opportunities, the right circumstances to come into your life at exactly the right time. I've seen this happen over and over again in my own life and in the lives of countless others. The moment you truly let go, the moment you truly surrender, the moment you truly trust, things start to shift. Sometimes in big ways, sometimes in small ways, but they always shift. Because you've changed your energy, you've changed your vibration, you've changed what you're broadcasting to the universe. And here's something else that's really important to understand. When I say expect it the same day, I'm not just talking about material things. I'm talking about peace. I'm talking about joy. I'm talking about love. I'm talking about healing. I'm talking about answers to your questions. I'm talking about solutions to your problems. You don't have to wait for these things. You can have them right now in this moment simply by choosing them. Peace is available to you right now. Not when your circumstances change, not when you finally get what you want, not when everyone around you approves of you. Right now, in this breath, in this moment, you can choose peace. You can choose to relax into the knowing that everything is working out for your highest good. You can choose to trust that the universe has your back. And when you make that choice, when you really make it, not just with your words, but with your whole being, something miraculous happens. The things you've been chasing start chasing you. The doors you've been trying to force open start opening effortlessly. The answers you've been seeking start revealing themselves. The people you need start showing up. The opportunities you've been praying for start presenting themselves. But you have to relax first. You have to trust first. You have to let go of the need to control every detail. You have to stop micromanaging the universe. You have to stop thinking you know better than infinite intelligence how things should unfold. You have to get out of your own way. Your ego wants to figure it all out. Your ego wants to know the plan. Your ego wants guarantees and certainties and step-by-step instructions. But your higher self, your true self, the part of you that's connected to source energy, knows that the best way forward is often not the way you would have planned. The best opportunities often come in disguises. The greatest blessings often arrive through unexpected channels. So when you relax and trust, you're not giving up. You're not being passive. You're actually being smart. You're working with the universe instead of against it. You're allowing infinite intelligence to guide you instead of relying solely on your limited human perspective. You're opening yourself up to possibilities that your logical mind could never conceive. Think about the times in your life when things worked out better than you could have planned. Think about the times when what you thought was a setback turned out to be a setup for something better. Think about the times when a closed door led you to an open door you didn't even know existed. That's what happens when you let go of control. That's what happens when you trust the process. That's what happens when you relax into the flow of life. Now, I know some of you are dealing with real challenges right now. I know some of you are facing situations that feel overwhelming. I know some of you are wondering how you're supposed to relax when everything seems to be falling apart. And I want to say to you, with all the love in my heart, this is exactly when you need to relax the most. This is exactly when you need to trust the most. This is exactly when you need to remember that you are not alone, that you are supported, that you are loved by a power greater than anything you can comprehend. When you're in the middle of a storm, the worst thing you can do is panic. The worst thing you can do is flail around and exhaust yourself fighting against the waves. The best thing you can do is take a breath, center yourself, and trust that you know how to swim. Trust that the storm will pass. Trust that you have within you the strength and the wisdom and the resources to handle whatever comes your way. And here's what happens when you do that. You tap into a power that's beyond your personal power. You tap into the power of the universe itself. You tap into the same power that causes flowers to bloom and planets to orbit and your heart to beat without you thinking about it. And that power is infinite. That power is unlimited. That power can do in a moment what would take you years to accomplish on your own. But you have to let it in. You have to create space for it. You have to get your limited thinking out of the way. And you do that by relaxing. You do that by trusting. You do that by expecting good things to come to you, not someday, not eventually, but right now, today, the same day you ask for them. This is not wishful thinking. This is not magical thinking. This is understanding how energy works. This is understanding how creation works. This is understanding that you are not separate from the universe. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are a powerful creator who is always, always, always creating your experience through the thoughts you think and the feelings you feel and the beliefs you hold. So if you've been struggling, if you've been trying so hard and getting nowhere, if you've been feeling frustrated and exhausted and ready to give up, I want you to try something different. I want you to stop. I want you to take a breath. I want you to relax your shoulders. I want you to soften your face. I want you to let go of the tension you've been carrying. And I want you to say to yourself, I trust. I trust that everything is working out for my highest good. I trust that what I need is coming to me. I trust that I am supported. I trust that I am loved. I trust that I am exactly where I need to be. And mean it. Don't just say the words. Feel them. Believe them. Let them sink into your bones. Let them change your energy. Let them shift your vibration. Because when you do that, everything changes. Not in some distant future. Not someday when you've earned it. Right now. In this moment, the same day. You see, the universe doesn't reward struggle. The universe rewards alignment. The universe rewards harmony. The universe rewards the person who is in a state of allowing, not the person who is in a state of resistance. And when you're trying so hard, when you're pushing so hard, when you're forcing so hard, you're in resistance. You're telling the universe, I don't trust you. I don't believe you can deliver. I have to do this all by myself. And the universe, respecting your free will, steps back and says, okay, if that's what you believe, if that's what you want, go ahead and try to do it all yourself. And you struggle and you strain and you exhaust yourself, and it still doesn't work. Because that's not how it's designed to work. It's designed to be easy. It's designed to be joyful. It's designed to flow. When you're in alignment with source energy, when you're in harmony with the universe, life flows. Doors open, opportunities appear, the right people show up, the money comes, the healing happens, the love arrives, not because you forced it, not because you struggled for it, but because you allowed it, because you relaxed into it, because you trusted it. And I want to be clear about something. Relaxing and trusting doesn't mean you don't take action. It means you take inspired action instead of desperate action. It means you move forward from a place of knowing instead of a place of fear. It means you do what you're guided to do, what feels right, what lights you up, rather than what you think you should do or what everyone else is doing or what worked for someone else. When you're relaxed and trusting, you're more connected to your intuition. You're more connected to your inner guidance. You're more connected to the wisdom that's always available to you when you're quiet enough to hear it, and that guidance will never lead you wrong. It will never tell you to do something that's not in your highest good. It will never steer you in the wrong direction. But you can't hear that guidance when you're in panic mode. You can't hear it when you're in stress mode. You can't hear it when you're constantly worried and anxious and afraid. You have to calm down. You have to center yourself. You have to create space for that still small voice to speak to you. And then you have to trust what it tells you. You have to follow it even when it doesn't make logical sense. You have to believe that it knows better than your rational mind what's best for you. This is faith, real faith, not believing that some external deity is going to swoop down and save you, but believing that you are connected to an infinite source of wisdom and power and love that is always guiding you, always supporting you, always working on your behalf. And when you have that kind of faith, when you really trust at that level, you can relax, you can let go. You can expect your good to come to you the same day because you know it's already done. You know it's already handled. You know that in the realm of spirit, in the realm of infinite possibilities, what you desire already exists and is simply waiting for you to align with it. And how do you align with it? By feeling now the way you'll feel when it arrives. By living now the way you'll live when it's here. by being now the person you'll be when you have what you want. You don't wait for the evidence to believe. You believe first, and then the evidence shows up. That's the order. That's how it works. That's how it's always worked for every person who has ever manifested anything they desired. Think about people who have achieved great success. Think about people who have overcome incredible odds. Think about people who have healed from supposedly incurable diseases. Think about people who have created amazing lives from nothing. What did they all have in common? They believed before they saw. They expected their good before it was visible. They relaxed into the knowing that what they wanted was possible, was probable, was inevitable. And then it showed up. Not because they were special, not because they were chosen, but because they understood the law. They understood how energy works. They understood that they had to be it before they could have it. So where in your life are you still waiting? Where are you still saying, I'll be happy when? Where are you still postponing your joy, your peace, your fulfillment until some external condition is met? Because I'm here to tell you that you can have it now, you can feel it now, you can be it now, and when you do, the external circumstances will rearrange themselves to match your internal state. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. This is practical spiritual truth. This is how the universe operates, and you can test it. You can prove it to yourself. Start today. Start right now. Choose something you've been wanting. It doesn't have to be something big. In fact, it's better to start with something small, something that doesn't have a lot of emotional charge attached to it, and then practice relaxing about it. Practice trusting that it's coming. Practice expecting it to show up the same day. And notice what happens. Notice how when you truly let go of the attachment, when you truly stop worrying about it, it shows up. Maybe not always the exact same day, because sometimes there's a little bit of lag time as the energy shifts and the circumstances rearrange. But it shows up faster than it would have if you were in stress and struggle mode. It shows up easier. It shows up in better ways than you could have orchestrated on your own. And as you experience this with small things, your faith grows, your trust deepens, your ability to relax increases. And then you can apply it to bigger things. You can apply it to the things you really want, the things you've been dreaming about, the things you've been praying for. And you'll find that the same principle applies. Relax and trust. And it comes. Expect it the same day, and the universe rushes to deliver it to you. But you have to do your part. You have to shift your energy. You have to change your vibration. You have to stop living in lack and start living in abundance. You have to stop living in fear and start living in faith. You have to stop living in doubt and start living in knowing. And the beautiful thing is, you can make this shift in an instant. It doesn't take years of therapy. It doesn't take decades of meditation. It doesn't require you to become a different person. It just requires you to remember who you really are. To remember that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. To remember that you are connected to infinite intelligence. To remember that you are loved and supported and guided every single moment of every single day. When you remember this, really remember it, not just know it intellectually, but feel it in your heart, everything changes. Your whole world transforms. Not because the world changed, but because you changed. And when you change your inner world, your outer world has no choice but to follow. That's the law. That's how it works. That's the promise. So right now, in this moment, make a decision. Decide that you're done struggling. Decide that you're done trying to force things to happen. Decide that you're done living in stress and worry and fear. Decide that from this moment forward, you're going to relax and trust. You're going to expect your good to come to you easily and effortlessly. You're going to live from the end result. You're going to be it before you see it. And watch what happens. Watch how doors start to open. Watch how opportunities start to appear. Watch how the right people start showing up. Watch how solutions start presenting themselves. Watch how your life starts to transform in ways you never could have planned or predicted. Watch how the same-day expectation becomes your new reality. Because here's the truth. You don't have to wait. You never had to wait. The only thing that was ever in your way was your own belief that you had to wait, your own belief that you weren't worthy yet, your own belief that you had to suffer first, struggle first, prove yourself first. But none of that is true. None of that has ever been true. You are worthy right now. You are ready right now. You are enough. right now. And the universe is not testing you. The universe is not making you wait to see if you're serious. The universe is not punishing you for past mistakes. The universe is simply responding to your energy. And when you shift your energy to one of relaxation, trust, and expectation, the universe shifts its response. It has its law. It's not personal, it's not arbitrary, it's as reliable as the sunrise. So breathe, let go, release the grip you've been holding on everything. Stop trying to control every outcome. Stop worrying about every detail. Stop obsessing over when and how and where. Just be, just trust, just know, and let the universe do what it does best, which is deliver to you everything you need exactly when you need it. Your only job is to stay in alignment, to stay in a state of allowing, to stay connected to source energy. And you do that by feeling good. You do that by choosing thoughts that feel better. You do that by focusing on what you want instead of what you don't want. You do that by appreciating what you have instead of complaining about what you lack. You do that by being grateful for what's already shown up and excited about what's on its way. When you live like this, when you make this your daily practice, miracles become normal. Synchronicities become commonplace. Manifestations become expected. Because you've raised your vibration to a level where these things are natural. You've aligned yourself with the flow of the universe. You've become a cooperative component with the energy that creates worlds. And from this place, anything is possible. Anything. Not just the things you think are realistic, not just the things that seem probable based on your current circumstances. Anything your heart truly desires. Because your desires are not random. Your desires were placed in your heart by the same source that created you, and that source would never give you a desire without also providing the means to fulfill it. So if you desire it, if you truly desire it, not from ego but from soul, it's already yours. It exists for you. It's waiting for you. All you have to do is relax and trust and expect it. All you have to do is become a vibrational match to it. All you have to do is be the person who has it. Feel the way you'd feel if you had it. Live the way you'd live if it was already here. And when you do that consistently, when you make that your way of being, the physical manifestation must follow. It's law. It's not a maybe. It's not a hope. It's not a wish. It's a certainty. And the more you practice this, the faster the manifestations come. The more you relax and trust, the more the same day expectation becomes your reality. This is the life you were meant to live. A life of ease, a life of flow, a life of joy, a life where you create deliberately and consciously, where you know you're supported, where you trust the process, where you expect miracles, not because you're special, but because you finally understand how this whole thing works. You finally understand that you are not separate from the creative force of the universe. You are an expression of it. You are an extension of it. You are it. And when you know this, really know this, everything is possible. Everything is available. Everything is accessible. Right here, right now. The same day, every day, all the time. Because you're not waiting for the universe to give you permission. You're not waiting for circumstances to change. You're not waiting to become someone different. You're simply aligning with what already is, what has always been, what will always be. So relax, trust, expect it. Live it, be it, and watch your life transform before your very eyes. Watch as what you once thought was impossible becomes not only possible but inevitable. Watch as the struggles fall away and the flow takes over. Watch as you step into the life you were always meant to live, the life that's been waiting for you all along, the life you can have the same day you decide you're ready for it. Because you are ready. You've always been ready. The universe has been ready. Everything has been ready. The only thing that was ever not ready was your belief that you were ready. But now you know. Now you understand. Now you can step forward with confidence and trust and expectation. Now you can relax into the knowing that everything you need is coming to you, is already on its way, is actually already here, just waiting for you to tune into the frequency of it. This is your time. This is your moment. This is your invitation to live differently, to be different, to experience life from a higher perspective. Accept that invitation. Step into that possibility. Become that person. And never look back. Because once you've tasted this way of living, once you've experienced what it's like to relax and trust and expect your good the same day, You'll never want to go back to the old way of struggle and stress and worry. You'll know in your bones that there's a better way. You'll know in your heart that you're supported. You'll know in your soul that you're loved. And from that place of knowing, you'll create a life beyond your wildest dreams. Not someday, not eventually, not in some distant future, but starting today, starting now, starting this very moment. Because the universe is ready to give you everything you've been asking for. The only question is, are you ready to receive it? The answer is yes. You are ready. You've always been ready. So relax, trust, expect it, and let the magic unfold. There's something I want you to consider that might shift everything for you right now. Every single person who has ever walked this earth has had access to the same universal power that you have access to right this moment. The same power, the same source, the same infinite intelligence. The difference between those who live extraordinary lives and those who live in quiet desperation is not talent, not luck, not circumstances of birth. The difference is in their relationship with this power. The difference is in their willingness to get out of their own way and let it work through them. You've been conditioned to believe that you have to earn everything, that nothing comes without hard labor and sacrifice, that if you're not exhausted, you haven't done enough. But let me ask you something. Does the sun work hard to shine? Does the ocean struggle to create waves? Does your body have to try to heal a cut on your finger? No. These things happen naturally, automatically, effortlessly, because they're operating according to universal laws. They're in harmony with the way things work. And you can operate the same way. You can live in that same harmony. You can tap into that same effortless power. But first, you have to stop believing that you're separate from it. You have to stop thinking that you're just this limited human being trying to survive in a hostile world. You have to recognize that you are part of something so much bigger, so much more magnificent, so much more powerful than your limited mind can conceive. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? For most people, they immediately start thinking about their problems. They start worrying about their bills, their job, their relationships, their health. They start planning and strategizing and trying to figure out how they're going to make it through another day. And in doing that, they set the tone for their entire day. They tune themselves to the frequency of lack, of fear, of limitation. And then they wonder why nothing ever changes. What if instead, the first thing you did was connect with source energy? What if you started your day by feeling grateful for the breath in your lungs and the bed beneath you and the new day ahead? What if you spent just 5 minutes feeling the way you want to feel, thinking thoughts that feel good, aligning yourself with the energy of what you desire? Do you know what would happen? Your entire day would be different. Your entire life would be different. Because here's what most people don't understand. You're not creating your life through your actions. You're creating your life through your vibration. Your actions are important, yes, but they're secondary. They're the result of your vibration, not the cause of your success. When you're vibrating at a high frequency, when you're in alignment with source energy, the right actions become obvious. You're guided to do the right things at the right time. You don't have to struggle to figure it out. You don't have to force anything. It flows. And this is why relaxing and trusting is so powerful. When you relax, when you let go of the need to control everything, when you trust that you're being guided, you raise your vibration naturally. You move out of resistance and into allowing. You create space for miracles to happen. You open the door for the universe to surprise and delight you in ways you never imagined. Think about water. When water encounters an obstacle, does it fight against it? Does it try to force its way through? No. Water flows around the obstacle. Water finds the path of least resistance. And eventually, over time, water can wear down even the hardest stone. Not through force, not through struggle, but through persistent, gentle, natural flow. You can be like water. You can flow through your life instead of fighting through it. You can move around obstacles instead of exhausting yourself trying to break through them. You can trust that if a door is closed, there's a better door waiting to open. You can relax into the knowing that the universe is always working in your favor, even when it doesn't look that way from your limited perspective. So I've watched people transform their entire lives in an instant simply by changing their relationship with time. They stopped living in the future, always thinking, when this happens, then I'll be happy. They stopped living in the past, replaying old hurts and disappointments. They started living right now in this present moment, which is the only moment that actually exists, the only moment where you have any real power. When you bring your awareness fully into the present moment, something magical happens. The worry falls away, the stress dissolves, the fear evaporates, because all of those things exist only in thoughts about the future or the past. They don't exist in the now. In the now, in this present moment, you are okay. You're breathing, you're alive, you're here, and from this place of presence, you can access the infinite power that's always available to you. This is why meditation is so transformative. Not because you're trying to empty your mind or achieve some special state, but because you're practicing being present. You're practicing letting go. You're practicing trusting. You're practicing relaxing into this moment exactly as it is. And the more you practice this, the more it becomes your natural way of being. The more you can carry this presence, this trust, this relaxation into every area of your life is not happening to you. Your life is responding to you. Every moment, you're sending out signals through your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, your expectations. And every moment, the universe is receiving those signals and responding accordingly. When you understand this, really understand it, you realize that you have so much more power than you ever thought possible. You realize that you're not a victim. You're not at the mercy of circumstances. You're a creator. You're always creating, whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously. So the question becomes, what do you want to create? What do you want your life to look like? How do you want to feel? Who do you want to be? And once you're clear on that, your job is simple. Align with it. Feel it. Be it. Live it. Now. Not someday. Now. The universe doesn't understand someday. The universe only understands now. When you say, I'll be happy someday, the universe hears, I'm choosing not to be happy now, and it keeps happiness in your future always just out of reach. But when you choose to be happy now, when you choose to feel abundant now, when you choose to feel love now, the universe says yes, and starts bringing you more reasons to feel happy, abundant, and loved. This is the secret that changes everything. You don't wait for your life to change to feel different. You feel different first, and then your life changes. You don't wait for evidence to believe. You believe first, and then the evidence shows up. You don't wait for permission to live fully. You give yourself permission right now, and then life opens up for you in ways you never dreamed possible. So stop waiting. Stop postponing your joy. Stop thinking you have to have everything figured out before you can relax and trust. You don't. You can relax and trust right now exactly as you are, exactly where you are. And when you do, everything starts to shift. Not because the universe finally decided to help you, but because you finally got out of your own way and allowed what was always there to flow to you and through you. This is your birthright. This is what you came here to experience. Not struggle, not suffering, not endless waiting and wanting, but joy, flow, ease, abundance, love, all of it, right now. The same day you decide you're ready for it, the same day you align with it, the same day you become it,